The British media's coverage of the Sussexes' recent tour of Colombia has been nothing short of bizarre. It was as if the press couldn't decide on a single narrative, instead opting to swing wildly between contradictory criticisms. In truth, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's tours this year have been nothing short of remarkable. Their multi-day trip to Canada was a tribute to the Invictus Games and a celebration of First Nations and the larger Whistler community. In Nigeria, they highlighted Invictus and veterans' causes while celebrating Nigerian culture and tourism. Their tour of Colombia, similarly, was steeped in meaningful engagements, focusing on women's empowerment, racial issues, and the rich tapestry of Colombian culture. But, of course, this depth and substance were lost on publications like The Telegraph, which could only muster a snide piece questioning the very purpose of the tour. More questions than answers over Harry and Meghan's Colombia visit. The Sussexes' quasi-royal tour produced a stream of glossy images, but reasons behind it remain a mystery. This piece is emblematic of the British media's frustration and envy over the Sussexes' ability to conduct meaningful, impactful tours without the need for royal pomp and ceremony. The Telegraph's disdain is palpable as they try to diminish the significance of the Sussexes' work by calling it a quasi-royal tour, and questioning why Harry and Meghan chose to visit Colombia. The article's tone suggests that the couple's visit was frivolous, lacking in purpose, and designed solely for generating glossy images. This perspective not only undermines the real work being done by Harry and Meghan, but also reveals the media's bias in holding the Sussexes to a different standard than the rest of the royal family. It's clear that the British media is struggling to accept that Harry and Meghan's tours are not just ceremonial visits designed to reinforce colonial narratives, as many royal tours have been historically. Instead, the Sussexes are focused on substantive issues, empowering communities, promoting cultural exchange, and addressing social justice. The fact that their tours are better received, more relevant, and more impactful than the royal family's outdated neo-colonialist tours seems to be a source of great discomfort for the British press. The Telegraph's article, in particular, is almost laughable in its criticism. The piece questions why Harry and Meghan would choose to visit Colombia, a country with a complex history and significant social challenges. But this question misses the point entirely. The very reason for the visit was to engage with these challenges, to highlight the resilience and strength of the Colombian people, and to bring global attention to issues that matter. It's as if the media cannot fathom that Harry and Meghan, now operating as private individuals, would choose to undertake a tour based on their own values and priorities, rather than the dictates of the British royal institution. One of the most absurd criticisms in the article is the complaint that the Sussexes' tour was carefully filtered through their own PR lens, and that the media was not invited, save for one hand-picked reporter. The Telegraph seems genuinely aggrieved that they were not given unfettered access to the tour, as they would have been on a traditional royal tour. This complaint is rooted in the entitlement of the British press, who have long been accustomed to being spoon-fed information by the royal family's communications teams. The Sussexes, however, are no longer beholden to these norms, and they have every right to control their own narrative, especially given the often hostile media environment they face. The article's assertion that, with no access, there is no independent scrutiny, is both ironic and hypocritical. The British media, notorious for its relentless pursuit of sensationalism and its frequent lack of objectivity when it comes to Harry and Meghan, is suddenly concerned about the lack of independent scrutiny. Where is this concern when it comes to the royal family's official tours, where access is tightly controlled and the narrative is carefully managed by royal communications teams. The double standard is glaring. When the Windsors make international visits with little media scrutiny or transparency, the press barely bats an eye. Yet, when Harry and Meghan operate on their own terms, the media is suddenly up in arms. The truth is, Harry and Meghan's tours have been more impactful, more authentic, and more aligned with the needs and interests of the communities they visit than any recent royal tour. Their approach is not about photo ops or maintaining an image of monarchical superiority. It is about genuine engagement with the world and using their platform to highlight issues that matter. The British media's inability to understand or appreciate this reflects their own outdated views on what it means to be a public figure and the role of the modern monarchy. The Telegraph's snide comment that questions remain about why they chose to visit this troubled Latin American country and what exactly they managed to achieve is a prime example of this ignorance. Colombia is a country with a rich culture and history, and it is also a country that has faced significant challenges, including decades of conflict, issues of racial inequality, and the fight for women's rights. Harry and Meghan's visit was an opportunity to shine a light on these issues, to support local initiatives, and to bring global attention to Colombia's efforts to overcome its challenges. The fact that the British media could only see this as a mystery speaks volumes about their lack of understanding and their unwillingness to see beyond their own prejudices. Moreover, the media's complaint that they had to scratch around for snippets of video and local accounts published online in an attempt to piece it all together is almost comical. In an age where journalism is supposed to be about uncovering the truth, the fact that reporters were forced to actually do their jobs, to research, to investigate, to gather information from local sources, seems to be presented as a hardship. This reveals the laziness and entitlement of the British press, who have become so accustomed to being handed ready-made stories that they have forgotten how to engage in real journalism. In the end, the British media's coverage of the Sussexes' Colombian tour is less a reflection of Harry and Meghan's work and more a reflection of the media's own insecurities and biases. The press is clearly frustrated by the Sussexes' continued success and their ability to operate independently of the royal institution. Harry and Meghan have shown that they do not need the royal family or the British media's approval to make a difference in the world. Their tours are not about upholding outdated traditions or reinforcing colonial narratives. They are about meaningful engagement, social justice, and creating positive change. As private individuals, Harry and Meghan have the freedom to choose where they go, what they do, and how they do it. They are not beholden to the expectations or demands of the British media, and they are certainly not obligated to follow the outdated playbook of the royal family's traditional tours. The British press may continue to criticise, to question, and to undermine, but the fact remains that Harry and Meghan are forging their own path, one that is more relevant, more impactful, and more authentic than anything the Windsors have managed in years. In conclusion, the British media's coverage of the Sussexes' Colombian tour was a hilarious mix of contradictions and unfounded criticisms. The salty British press, unable to decide on a single narrative, only revealed their own insecurities and biases. Harry and Meghan's tours have been hugely successful, substantive, and meaningful, in stark contrast to the hollow neo-colonialist tours of the Windsors. The British media's attempts to diminish the Sussexes' work only highlight their own shortcomings and their inability to see the world beyond their narrow, outdated perspectives. Thank you for watching.